Hi, my name's Lizzie. I'm the maker behind Hive Knits, and welcome to Hive Knits and Natters podcast. If you're new here, welcome. If you're a returning viewer, then thank you so much for coming back. We have got so much to catch up on. I'm so sorry it's been so long. It is a long time since I've done a podcast episode. I've done a couple of different types of videos in the last couple of months, but not a regular podcast episode for ages. If you've missed them and you are interested, then I'll link them to this video. I did a video about crafting for my wedding and also rearranging my yarn stash, which is the reason for our new location today. I'm not a massive fan of like this side of things. This is our spare room / office / yarn storage now. But yeah, I wanted to sit in front of my beautiful yarn storage, and this side is just there as well. So I'll do my best to kind of like sit this side and cover up like the boring things, and so you can look at the pretty yarn. If I just get out of the way. Isn't it beautiful? So if you want to learn more about how I organised all of that, check out my other video. But yes, lots has happened since we last caught up in a podcast episode, and there's some very good reasons why. Since we last spoke, I got married. Yay! I'm now officially a married woman. Woohoo! Which is very exciting. We got married at the end of November, so somehow it's nearly 2 months ago. I can't quite believe how quickly the time has gone. And yeah, obviously that kind of just took over time around November. Then basically as soon as that was over, we went on a mini moon just for a few days, and suddenly it was December, and we were like, oh wow, it's December. So December's always mental. December was December, then it was Christmas, and then straight after Christmas I sat my big final important GP exam on the 10th of January. So yeah, was just like working all the time, getting ready for that. Fingers crossed I've done enough. I don't have to retake it. I find out on the 1st of February, so keep me in your thoughts. It would be amazing if I didn't have to retake it because, well, obvious reasons. And then it was my birthday the day after, and yeah, it's just been really busy. And in amongst all of that chaos, my knitting mojo has really fluctuated. As you'll see from the crafting our wedding video, we put quite a lot of like our crafty efforts between us and between me and Pete into like stuff for the wedding. I made this cardigan for the wedding, which I'll show you more in a moment. So yeah, after that the mojo was a bit low, and then just around like exam time, my like social media design, that kind of mojo was really low, but my actual knitting mojo was really high. I wanted something to do with my hands. My revision, the exam was like on kind of how you consult, and it involved preparation, kind of involved like watching a lot of videos, doing a lot of like online stuff because the exam was all over video. So I actually had quite a lot of time kind of being at home looking at a screen, which I never normally have. So I managed to actually like knit quite a lot, but just projects that I'd already started, because I have so many whips at the minute and I'd lost steam on a little bit. So I've managed to finish one. I've got 2 finished objects today. One I'm wearing, one I have finished and we'll show you. And then I've got an absolute plethora of whips. Not going to show you all of them today because some of them haven't really made much progress, but I'm going to show you 5, and yes, that means there are more. Some of which are entirely new since the last podcast episode, so I feel like that quite accurately represents how like chaotic like life and the inside of my brain has been lately. And I've got loads of acquisitions as well. Somehow. Anyway, buckle up. I think it's going to be a long one. But it's actually really nice to be back. So, lots of people asking about the wedding and like wanting to see pictures of the dress and like the cardigan with the dress and stuff, and that's so lovely, thank you. I love that people are interested, because one of those things that you're like, oh, am I being really boring about something that's only happening in my life? But people do genuinely seem interested. So I have shared quite a few photos on Instagram already of the wedding and me wearing the cardigan, and me with my lovely knit group who all came to the wedding and just made it so special. So I think what I'm going to do is talk a bit about the cardigan as a finished object, probably insert some photos from the wedding basically featuring the cardigan. And then my amazing friend Laura Penrose took some beautiful footage which she compiled together into a lovely video for us. And yeah, so I think I might put that on the very end of this video. So yeah, just keep an eye out for that right at the end. So oh, I also have a very quick podcast recommendation. I've been watching less podcasts, as in like variety of podcasters, but I've been watching quite a lot of the same people, if that makes sense. I was getting quite overwhelmed by my subscriptions. There was a lot going on. Hi Hugo, please don't knock that over. No, it doesn't want to be cuddled. Sorry? Rearrange the room quite significantly to film this, aka to clear up loads of mess that would otherwise be in shot, and I don't think he's very happy about it. What was I saying? Yes, I had a bit of a cull of my subscriptions that I wasn't really watching, and I found a new podcast that I really like. It's called Those Twins Who Knit, and I will link them down below. It's been ages since I subscribed to a new podcast that I just love and want to watch all the episodes. They obviously are two twins who live in America, and just the projects that they make, I feel like are really my vibe. They're really like up my alley. And yeah, they're just really fun. Like, I think all the stuff they make is really, the patterns they choose are very similar to what I would choose. The colours they use are very lovely. I think everything they make has kind of got that could be store-bought vibe, but in like the nicest way possible, which is how I like it when my knits look as well. So yeah, I would recommend checking them out. I think they've got like, they're relatively new to the podcasting scene. I think they've got like maybe 6 episodes, and they did a roundup of what they knit in 2023. So yeah, probably well behind. Everyone probably already knows about them, but I think they're really fun. I haven't done a what I knit in 2023 video, because 2023 ended in just, as I've discussed, a bit of chaos. I kind of have mixed thoughts about them. I think if it's someone like, it's like a podcaster who I watch like all their videos, I don't really need to see a roundup because I've seen it all individually. I quite enjoyed it when I first found the twins and I watched their what we knit in 2023, which made me be like, oh, all these projects are really nice and I'd really like to see more. So I haven't made one, and it's now January, nearly the end of January. What are your thoughts? Shall I make one? Shall I not? I'm kind of tempted not to unless there's demand for one. Let me know what you think. Right. Oh, this is going to be so rambly, I can tell. Already on 10 minutes. Right, let's briefly talk about the cardigan. So this is the first cardigan, which is designed by me and knit by me for my wedding. Honestly, it was just incredible to... I didn't walk down the aisle with it on. My dress was like sleeveless and had like a feature back, so I wanted that to be on display for the actual ceremony. But I put this on when we went for our walk with our photographer, and in the evening, like, well, late afternoon, when we had some pictures outside, because we were very lucky with the weather. For November in the UK, it could have been abysmal. It was dry, cold, couldn't have asked for anything more than that. So but the cardigan was very, very, very welcome for some outdoor pictures. And yeah, it was just amazing to be able to wear it and be like, oh, I designed and knit this. And yeah, would 100% recommend. So this is not a new design. The first cardigan came out in I want to say December of 2022. My original sample was a bright green, and I made essentially this second version for myself for the wedding. So it is knit in 3 strands, which is very luxurious for me. But you know, if you can't make a luxurious garment for your wedding, when can you? So I used Lana Gatto VIP, which is merino cashmere blend. Then I used a strand of Lang lace, which is a silk mohair, and Lang cashmere dreams. So yeah, 3 strands, but well worth it. I mean, obviously this was quite an outlandish yarn choice, very luxurious, obviously wasn't cheap, but that is not what I was going for. And then I paired it with these really beautiful pearl buttons, which I just got off, oh, I want to say Etsy. Yeah, it's exactly the same as my green sample, knit it to pattern, except for this white one I knit a size 3 instead of a size 4, just because I wanted it to be a bit less oversized. Yeah, it is oversized, you can see that there, but just not quite as much. And I knew I'd want to wear it like buttoned up, and yeah, it's just perfect. It literally couldn't have been better. This yarn combination is so soft, there is 0 itch. If it wasn't so expensive, I would knit in it all day, every day. That's the lace and the cashmere dreams. And what a joy just to be able to get my yarns. And there is the VIP. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So yeah, I will insert some footage of today. I've just paired it with some black high-waisted jeans, and I'll insert some footage of that, and I'll insert some photos from the wedding if I haven't already while we've been chatting. So yeah, that's what I'm wearing. My second finished object, which I was just about to be like, ooh, get me, but it's been ages, so that is not particularly a big achievement, is my Alexandra Tee. So this is a pattern by Notes and Knits, and I have had it in my pattern library for ages. I helped her to translate the pattern from, what is her original language? It's either German or Danish, I think. Anyway, helped her like review the English translation and to give me a copy of the pattern in return, but that was way back in 2020. And then I was gifted some yarn by Imagine Wool, who asked me if I wanted to try their merino linen blend. I talked about this in the last podcast, so I won't wang on about it, but essentially it's this. I don't have any more skeins actually. I wound them all because I ended up needing everything that they sent me. But yeah, this is it wound. Don't know if you can see from this, but I kind of explained last time that it's got it's a really interesting blend. Obviously merino linen, but it's got these like long coarse linen fibers that stick out. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, there's one. And they kind of give it like this slightly coarse texture to look at, but it's really soft to feel. Probably explained that really badly, but yeah, that's their yarn. This was gifted. I originally had, I want to say 4 skeins, 50 gram skeins, fingering weight this is. So I think 50 grams is like roughly 200 meters. It's quite a standard fingering weight. And I ended up holding it double for the pattern that I made, which we'll talk about in a second. So I ended up needing another 4, which they very kindly supplied. So yeah, full transparency, I did not pay for this yarn or for the pattern actually. So this whole thing is gifted. So thank you everyone involved. Imagine Wool and Notes and Knits. But yes, love this colour. It's a kind of pale, it's definitely a green, but it's, yeah, it's reading pretty accurately on the camera. It's very much kind of got some bluish tinges to it. So that's the yarn. And this is the garm. So when I say finished, it is finished, as in I've literally worn it like at least once. But there are still ends to weave in. Why am I like this? It's so embarrassing. But yeah. I'll also insert some B-roll of me wearing this, but let me just hold it up to show you. I'm just hiding my ends, hiding my shame. Here she is. Woohoo! Let's try and get her all in the shot. So this is, like I said, the Alexandra Tee by Notes and Knits. Details wise, it has a saddle shoulder, which is I'd never made a saddle shoulder before, so that was really fun. I'd never done that before, and the kind of feature of this garment are these really cute frilly sleeves. Aren't they just amazing? I love them so much. I'm trying to just make sure they're coming into focus. Yeah, there you go. So the sleeves just have this beautiful ruffle on the end of them, which, yeah, turns an otherwise, you know, nice classic basic stockinette t-shirt into just a little bit of that's so cool. For some reason that one is looking more ruffled, so let's look at this one. It's actually got a little bit of, try and show you, a little bit of rib before the ruffle. I don't know if you can see that there. It's not stockinette into ruffle, it's got a tiny bit of rib which kind of keeps everything nice and compact. And then it's finished with, well, there are a few options, but I finished it with a folded hem, which you can see there. And yeah, this is she. I really like this pattern. I think I would make it again. I think it's a lovely basic tee pattern. However, the fabric I've ended up with is very dense. It's probably not gonna like, I don't think you're gonna be able to necessarily appreciate it. No, it's not very drapey, and for I think it's 30% linen, that kind of surprised me. But I think that's probably to do with my gauge. So full disclosure, I didn't gauge swatch. I honestly don't know why, because I've never used this yarn before. So I really should have done, but I didn't. Don't know why. It was a long time ago. And yeah, I suspect my gauge is probably, I don't have any measuring apparatus in here with me just now, but I suspect my gauge is like tighter than is recommended. The pattern recommends 2 strands of Knitting for Olive merino, I think, held double. Definitely recommends fingering weight held double. So I didn't use like the wrong yarn combination, although I think the Knitting for Olive runs at 250 meters and 50 grams, and I'm pretty sure this ran at 200 meters and 50 grams, so perhaps this is slightly heavier. I think maybe I just should have gone up a needle size. I compensated, I knew my gauge was tight, so I made a bigger size, but in retrospect I definitely should have just gone up a needle size, because this is like very dense fabric. It definitely isn't like a summer tee. It'd be interesting to know how it would have been if I'd held this single. Yeah, it's not going to stop me wearing it. I wore it out on my birthday. I'll insert a picture. But it's definitely like a transitional spring or autumn piece. Actually, for me, this is really useful because I would totally wear this in the winter. It's very warm because it's got that like 70% merino thingy. And with the sleeves, I have worn this to work, and I do wear my knits to work because I spend a lot of time at work and I want to wear my things that I've made. But the sleeves can get in the way of my job. Is not particularly a clean job all the time. And technically I probably shouldn't have long sleeves on. Anyway, so this is actually great. And I think I'm coming to realise that, as you'll see from my other whips, that knitted tees are like a good thing for me. I also get quite hot at work. Like on Friday I did wear my sweater number 18 because it has been particularly cold lately. It's been like basically freezing all day and snowed and stuff. But in a full jumper all day I do get quite warm. Cardigans are good for that, but also a knitted tee is great for that. So I think there could be, definitely think there could be another one of these in my future. I just would gauge swatch or use a different yarn combination. But yeah, really cute pattern. A few people have contacted me and said, do I know how you can get this pattern because it's not on Ravelry? I'm not quite sure why Notes and Knits patterns aren't on Ravelry, but I know that she has a website. So I always link like how to get to the patterns in my video descriptions. So check that out for how to get your hands on this pattern. So that is my 2 finished objects. So let's move on to whips, works in progress. What order shall we do this in? Well, there's only one that you've seen on the previous podcast, I think. So let's start with that. Oops. I actually posted this on my Instagram this morning, and because I realised I hadn't shared this at all. So I am making the Maude Tee by Petite Knit. I started this back in September. Oh, what am I doing? And have somehow it just ended up languishing. Like by September, I think by September, October, I was like, oh, I really need to get this wedding cardigan finished. And other stuff just got put on hold. But it's lush. It's so nice. And getting it back out this morning, it was all crumpled, so I steamed it so I could take a nice picture of it for Instagram, because, you know, the gram. And I was like, oh my god, fallen instantly back in love with it. So let me show you. It's amazing. Not really. It's hard to hold it up and not have it look weird because of the kind of floppiness of the collar. But oh my god, it is just stunning. I love it. Why did I leave you to languish? Oh, we need to get you finished so I can wear, because this will be another example of a perfect thing for me to wear at work. Like, it's not a jumper, my arms will be free. It's just great. So yeah, this is a Petite Knit pattern. It's very, very similar to the Elizabeth blouse. So the Elizabeth blouse essentially has long sleeves and has no buttonholes. You can see, which side are they? Here, that have got some little buttonholes, ready for some little tiny buttons. I envisage myself using like some little tiny pearls maybe on this. I think that will look really classy. On hers, she uses quite big blingy buttons, but it's not really my vibe. So I think some little tiny stud pearls will look really cute doing that up. So obviously you would be able to do it up fully, which would make it look kind of like that. Or you could just wear it open, a la the Elizabeth blouse. Comme ça. So it's a 2-stitch raglan. That's what the back looks like. And yeah, so lovely. This yarn combination is Sandner's, I'm using really scrappy bits to show you, sorry. Sandner's Sunday, which is fingering weight, non-superwash merino, and their tin silk mohair, and in these beautiful matching green colours. Now, for those of you with good memories, I bought this first, the mohair, because I just fancied it. I remember thinking, oh, I've not tried the Sandner's tin silk mohair before, and I was quite intrigued by it because it has wool in it rather than just silk and mohair like a lot of the other mohairs on the market. And let's get a clean ball. Oh, oops. Yeah, this is it. You can see that a bit better. Beautiful fluff. And what is the composition? So 57% mohair, 28% silk, and 15% wool. And I am a big fan. I'll not lie. I like it a lot. Definitely would choose it again. I think it's quite similarly priced to other ones. And I don't know if it's the wool in it or the fact that the mohair content is lower. It was only 57%, but definitely find this less scratchy. I do find mohair scratchy. I don't want to lie about that. I just can tolerate it, so I do, because I think it looks nice. But I certainly am aware when I'm wearing mohair, if that makes sense. It just doesn't stop me from wearing it. But this, really, really soft feeling. And yeah, coupled with the Sunday. So I got this first and then tried to pair it with a black, and it was an absolute disaster. It looked like army camouflage. It was horrible. So in the end I just thought, you know what, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And so I bought the matching Sunday, and yeah, the fabric is just beautiful. Really, really, really like it. Would definitely use this yarn combination again. It's got this obviously big feature of a beautiful collar, which you start with the Judy's Magic cast on, and then like knit in a little like pocket, and then kind of I guess like sew it together, and then you only got one layer of fabric, not two, for the rest of the garment, and then that folds over like that. But yeah, really, really nice, and I'm very motivated to get this finished now I've got it out. I'd love to have it finished to wear kind of as we head into spring. That'd be really, really nice. So yeah, big fan. I was trying to work out which size I'd made this morning to write my Instagram caption, because I think this is written for a 21 stitch gauge, and I think it's a fingering and a mohair that's recommended. I can't remember exactly, but I think it's something like that. And I know that my fingering and mohair gauge on 4mm needles, which is what this is knit on, is 24 stitches, not 21. So I altered as is just standard for me now. I just go up a size, and the fabric with this is perfect. It's kind of what I want the Alexandra Tee to be. So I could definitely see an Alexandra Tee in Sunday and tin silk mohair in my future. Oh yes. Anyway, but yeah, I looked normally when I start a pattern, I like highlight the size that I'm making, even if I don't make like loads of notes. I went back to the pattern, nothing, literally nothing. It's like, why have I done this to myself? Why haven't I at least highlighted just once anywhere in the pattern which size I'm making? So I had to work backwards, and I saw that I'd cast on 9 stitches at the underarm, which is the instruction for size 4. But then I got 70 stitches on my sleeve, which would fit with a 2 or a 3. Size 4 has 71. I'm not sure what I've done. Luckily, all the shaping is done, and all I need to do is like knit the body to length and knit the sleeve to length and then bind them both off. They have a little folded, similar to the Alexandra Tee body, they have a folded hem. My brain just went blank then. So I don't think it matters. Like, I'll just knit to the lengths that I want and then bind off. There won't be any more instructions as per size. But so I'm guessing a 4, because then, oh, that's right, I reverse engineered the stitch counts for the body, and it's meant to have about 10 centimeters of positive ease. The size 4 for the body stitch counts would get me about 7 centimeters of positive ease, whereas the size 3 would have only got me 3 centimeters, so I don't think it's that one. And then the size 5 would have got me like 15 centimeters positive ease, so I don't think it's that one. So I think it's a 4. I think. Not that it really matters, but why? Why did I do that to myself? I obviously didn't envisage leaving this to fester, is the issue. I'm going to pick that back up because it's annoying me. That's better. Generally, nothing falls out of there. It's very, very stable. The other day I came in to just find one skein of something on the floor that the cats had been playing with, but I thought that they were going to claw at it and pull everything out all the time, but they generally don't go near it. I think they're a bit confused by it. And generally when I pull stuff out, as you saw when I was pulling stuff out of up there, it's fine. The culprits are these little nuggets of Knitting for Olive compatible cashmere. I'll show you them in a bit because they're a new acquisition. But they are the culprits because they're so tiny and so slippery, whereas like the rest of that is all mohair, so it kind of like sticks to it itself. But yeah, the compatible cashmeres are really naughty. They keep like, they're not happy, they just jiggle around all the time, and like if I pull anything out they're all like woo. So having like naughty children. Anyway, so yes, that was whip number 1, the Maude Tee by Petite Knit. So right, the next ones you haven't seen on the podcast, which is exciting. So let's stick with the Petite Knit theme for this next one. So I have made 2 versions of the zipper sweater. Well, zipper sweater man technically, but the zipper sweater like family of garments, and really like it. Both have come out really well. I'll insert some pictures. Made one for my brother and one for my dad, and I was just like, do you know what, I'd like one of those. They're really nice. So I had some yarn loads of yarn left over from when I made my first sample of the Resta cardigan, which is on the back burner for now because I had some issues with the gauge on the button band and possibly needing short rows and blah blah blah. But for that I used cones of woolly knit merino, and because I was knitting that double stranded for ease, I thought, probably wasn't, but I ordered basically 2 cones, which gave me like so much yarn. I knit that whole cardigan with it, and then I've managed to knit like an entire other garment, and maybe I'll have a tiny bit left, but yeah, loads of yarn. So yeah, I had that, and that's what was left over that I ordered the green tinsel mohair to go with, and it looked awful. So I was like, right, let's try something that's darker, but I didn't want black. I didn't want actually black. So I ordered no, I think I've used it all. Oh no, something here. Ordered some Knitting for Olive soft silk mohair. Now that looks really black, but it's not. It's very navy blue, very dark blue. Can you see that? Can you make out that it's very dark blue? I hope so. It almost looks dark grey on camera, but it's dark blue. If I hold it up against I've got some of the mohair in licorice, which is a black. Or can you have light black? Because this is light black if you can have light black. But yeah, yes, you can see the difference there, I think. This is the navy and this is the black. Anyway, this navy one is called Dusty Blue Whale, which I just love. I love their colour names, they're just beautiful. Like one of their other colours is Piglet. Oh, so good. But yes, I ordered this to go with the black and it's done exactly what I wanted it to do. Exactly. Let me just, this is a very big whip now, it's very nearly finished. Just need to finish the first sleeve and do the second and then it's done. I just need to put the zipper in. So let me just untangle everything. Yeah, okay. So let me just show you like the fabric that it's created first. Again, I don't think it's really showing up like the, yeah, it's blowing out to look more black. But it's actually, believe me when I say it's dark blue. But it's basically made this beautiful like mild fabric because the particularly the silk strand in the knitting full of mohair is like lighter than the black. It's beautiful. I'm really happy with it. Here is the big ribbed collar. I'm showing you this in such a weird order. I should just have shown you it like properly. Again, big floppy collar that's not secured yet, so it's going to be quite hard. But it looks so black. How weird. This is she. It literally just looks like a different garment. Never mind, you get the idea. We all know what the zipper sweater looks like. So I'm very nearly finished the first sleeve, second sleeve, and then we'll just need to knit the little bits of zip placket. This will be my third time sewing in a zip now, so I'd love to say that I feel more confident about it. Still will procrastinate that. I have actually ordered a zip. I'm not going to get it out of the packet. Again, we all know what zips look like, but this is the petite knit. It's annoying to have to order her zips because they're probably more expensive, but I actually think they're really good quality and I love the pull on these ones. So yeah, my brother and my dad both got one, so I was like, hey, I'm going to have a nice zip too. So yeah, this is, I'm hoping again to have this finished soon because it will be really useful to me this winter. I know you have to do 10 decreases down the sleeve, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so yeah, we are really close. So one more decrease and then I think I'll just knit it to the length I want in the ribbing and the other sleeve and then woo! So yes, that is she. Yeah, just at the really bulky, difficult to transport anywhere stage now. Oops. This is what I'm working with right now, little nuggets. Scrappy stage where you really need to start some new skeins, but you can see the blue there actually. Yeah, that's quite a good colour reference against the black. So yes, that is that. I'm not going to get it out, but I do have one last cake of the woolly knit, which is there. Suddenly was just like, I've got another skein of the thingy, the mohair, but have I got any more black yarn? Like what? But yes, I do, never fear. I've been a bit of a demon with my Swift and Winder lately, so yeah, it's all wound up, ready to go. Okay, so that's whip number 2. Okay, I'm going to show you one more, and then I've got 2 of my own designs. So whip number 3 is actually got a really nice story to it. I posted about this on Instagram, but in case you haven't seen, so revising for this exam, obviously like quite intense, because the exam is over video with actors, but in real life we never consult over video. It was a bit stressful and we were all a bit unsure of how to like practice properly. So we formed a little group, a few of us, all in my like training cohort, and basically did like practice cases at home, either real life cases that we'd seen, or there are some websites you can sign up to with like paid for practice cases. And you spend enough time with people, right? You become friends, and it's quite like an emotive and stressful thing to go through. And yeah, my friend who I'm talking about, her exam was in November. I practiced a lot with them and then took my foot off the gas for the wedding because I knew I'd have a natural hiatus then. Mine was in January, and a couple of my friends very kindly were like, no, you really helped us prepare, so we're gonna like keep practicing with you. So right up till my exam in January, they were still like offering their time to like help me practice, and yeah, it's just really, really kind. So I said, right, that's fine. One of them really wanted to learn to knit, and she said after her exam in November she wanted to learn to knit. So I was like, I can help you with that. Like, you're still helping me like use my time to practice, because you can't practice on your own. Like, you can read like facts and you can watch recorded videos of other people consulting, but the only way to do it is with someone else. So shout out to them, and shout out to Pete, who's been a patient for me lots of times, and my mum and dad actually. So it was a full team effort, and if I pass in February, then credit goes to everybody involved. Anyway, this one friend really wanted to learn to knit, and I was like, okay, so to pay you back for you giving me your time, I will help you learn to knit. So I was like, and she was adamant that she wanted to start with a sweater. And I was like, oh, are you sure? Like, this is someone who'd done nothing, not a stitch, never worked with your arm before. And I was like, are you sure? Are you sure I don't want to do like a hat or like a blanket or something just a bit more straightforward? She was like, no, I really want to make a sweater. I was like, right, okay. So I watch Handmade by Florence on YouTube and follow her Instagram, and she has a pattern called the Step by Step sweater, which she like her kind of, it's a free pattern, and her USP is like anyone could knit it. It's a completely beginner friendly pattern, and she has a whole like hour plus YouTube walkthrough of making it. So I was like, this is perfect. My friend will definitely love the YouTube video. Like, she really wants to knit a sweater, so let's choose this one. So the sample yarn in that is Drops Nepal, for one of the samples anyway. So we had like a big chat about colours, and I was like, I'm going to buy you a starter kit, like, to say thank you. So the pattern was free, so I sent that to her, told her to watch the video, and then ordered yarn of her colour choice. And a like, there's quite a reasonable set of interchangeable needles you can buy through Wool Warehouse. I think they might be Knit Pro, but they're like 20 quid or something. They're actually like decent. They're metal, and they've got sizes like 3 through 6 or something. So they were perfect. So I like online shopped her like a little bundle of like knitting starting equipment, and got it delivered to her house, and she was like, oh my god, that's amazing. Anyway, long story short, obviously I had to order for myself because, you know, I needed to knit along with her in case she got stuck, obviously. So together we are making the Step by Step sweater. So hers is a beautiful, like, she's gone for beige and grey stripes. It sounds like they're not high contrast, but they are. They're really nice. I'll see if I can put a picture in, because she has sent me some progress pictures, and oh my word, for the first thing she's ever made, I am gobsmacked. I'm so impressed. I told her the first thing I ever made was a neonatal hat, and it was on straight needles, and it was like 2mm needles with like 2-ply yarn, and in retrospect that was a very bad thing to try and learn on, but it was awful. I had to drop stitches, holes, it wasn't great. And she's knit in the round a raglan construction striped Like, it's insane. I'm really proud of her. So I'll put a picture of hers in because she keeps sending me progress updates, which is very, very cute. But literally a couple of weeks ago, we were like FaceTiming, and I was like trying to show her how to literally do a knit stitch. Like, you put your needle through this way and then you wrap around that way and then you have to scoop, like, that's where we were. And then the other day she just sent me like a picture of basically a raglan sweater complete except for the sleeves, and my mind is blown. And I'm gonna take credit and say it's my amazing teaching skills, but it's definitely her. She's a very determined person. So anyway, let's stop garbling. My colour choice is a classic for a stripe, I feel. So like navy blue. Again, it's showing up a little bit black. Trust me when I say it's navy blue. And this lovely like white colour. So this is Drops Nepal. I actually used this very yarn, the navy blue Drops Nepal, for my brother's zipper sweater man, which is the first one that I ever made. So I already knew my gauge in Drops Nepal, which was helpful. So I didn't gauge swatch for this, but that's okay because I knew the gauge. I didn't gauge swatch for Alexandra Tee, and that wasn't okay. So yes, these are my colours, and this is how far I've got. Where's the front? That's the front. Isn't it cute? Love it. I've never made like a classic kind of high contrast white and navy, white and black striped sweater before, and I'm always really jealous of all the ones I see on Instagram. So yeah, this is a step-by-step sweater. I chose to add the short rows. My friend didn't add the short rows because we decided that was just a step too far. And yeah, split for sleeves, made a good bit of progress on the body. Yeah, it's on 5.5. Yeah, 5.5mm needle, so it does knit up quite quickly. I've actually been keeping this by my bed, and if I go to bed and just want to like listen to my audiobook for a bit, I'm trying to scroll less in bed. So I've been keeping this by my bed because I feel bad knitting things that have got a strand of mohair or a fluff strand in bed because it gets everywhere, and then Pete's sneezing away and I'm like, oh, sorry. But this doesn't have mohair in. The Drops Nepal is a wool alpaca blend. So I've been knitting this in bed if I just want to do a few rows while I just like wind down, which has actually been really fun. So yeah, and that's going to be, oh yes, I'm very excited for this one. It's just really basic, free pattern, but it means so much to me because of like the story behind how I decided to make it, like teaching my friend to make one as well. We're going to have matching jumpers, and it's all come out of a time when actually we've been so stressed and it's just not been very nice, but something good has come out of it. That sounds so lame, but it's how I feel. Truly believe that knitting can conquer all. And this is what I mean by I've been doing quite a lot of knitting. So when I was kind of like sat watching videos, when people, you know, between when people could practice with me for this exam, I was like wanted to keep my hands busy while I was watching these videos. And now I understand how people can knit so much when they have like online meetings, which just isn't my day at all. I spend all my day at work seeing people face to face. I never have an online meeting. And while I was watching the videos, I just knit on this and made all this progress. And yeah, super duper happy. Literally loving all my whips at the minute. How exciting. Right, two more. And they're both designs by me, and they're both variations on this actually. So they're babies in the first garment family. So the first one is the first sweater chunky edition. Hilariously, I shared a picture of the other whip, which is a t-shirt version, summer tee version, on my Instagram yesterday or sometime over the weekend. And someone commented saying, I think we need like a chunky version of the first sweater. And I was like, ha ha ha, it's in the pipeline. Again, this is something that I hyper focused on and cast on ages ago, probably like October time, and then realised that I really needed to crack on with this for the wedding, and then everything's happened and here we are, it's still a whip in a bag. But this came about because Originally Lovely, who are a yarn brand, they contacted me and said, would I like to try some of their yarn? And I said, ooh, let me have a look. Probably yes, please. So they have a few different yarns. I chose, let me get it to show you, to try this, which is called Pura. It's a DK weight, and I've got it in this lovely like faded blue colour, which is called Stonewash. And it's, yeah, 100% merino. It's really soft, but I don't know if you're able to see. How do we describe that? Is that high twist? No. Ply? You can see the strands. It reminds me a bit of cotton because you can see all the strands so clearly. If I compare it with, what's this? This is Peruvian Highland wool. It's just quite different. I'm really bad at knowing technical terms in knitting. Is it to do with being worsted or woolen spun or something? Someone tell me if you know what I'm talking about. See, this is like twisted, whereas this is, I think this has this got different plies? I don't know. Someone try and explain to me what I'm trying to explain. Anyway, so this is really, really kindly gifted. So this runs 50 grams, 125 meters, quite a standard DK weight. So the original fur sweater and the cardigan are like light DK, maybe technically sport weight. They're the classic fingering and lace combined. So when I said I was going to make the fur sweater chunky, I don't mean chunky because I don't really like knitting chunky things. I don't really like I like knitting them, but I don't really like wearing them. So by chunky we mean like worsted, heavy DK, rather than like light DK sport. Just to be clear on that. And I did wonder about just holding this on its own, but then I thought that will only be a DK, it won't be that different. So I thought, oh well, I'll hold it with a strand of lace. But then I wanted to try something mohair free, just to like try that and be able to like offer experience of using that in my designs. So I went for, please don't all fall out. Nah. Oh, there's probably one in here actually. Nope. Is that compatible cashmere, honestly? Anyway, I went for this, which is Camarosa Midnight Sol, which I got from, did I get this from Knit in the end? I either got it from Knit or I got it from somewhere else because she didn't have the colour that I needed. No, I think I did get it from Knit. And this, I've been intrigued to try for ages. So it's baby alpaca 54%, tencel, and then merino wool. So it is mohair free, but it's still like a fluffy lace weight vibe. And a few people used it in the fur sweater test knit because they can't tolerate mohair. So it runs at 200 meters per 25 grams. It's like a standard mohair runs at about 210. So it is similar, but I don't know. I think maybe the strand is slightly thicker than a standard mohair. I'm not sure. Is that focusing? Yeah. Not too sure. Anyway, so that's my combination. And this is what we have so far. Again, abandoned halfway. The theme of this is whips that have been abandoned after they've been split for sleeves. So the Maude Tee, maybe that one, the step by step, the zipper sweater less so, because that is you know, we've nearly got a sleeve on that. And my next whip as well. Apparently I lose my mojo when we've split for sleeves. Right, but this is what we have so far. I should have probably steamed this as it's quite creased, but you'll get the idea. Woo! So you can see the fabric that has been created by those two yarns. It's very lovely. And I think this is working up at like a 20 stitch gauge, I want to say, for the stockinette portion. I can't remember exactly, I should have checked, but it's in my design notebook, which is downstairs. But essentially the pattern is as for the first sweater in terms of like the raglan detail. So you can see we've got the half fisherman's rib, which looks lush in this slightly more chunky woohoo situation. We've still got the 3-stitch raglan. The neckline I created with short rows as per the original first sweater, but I didn't do a ribbed neckband. Like I've left the neckband off to pick up and knit later because I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do, so I didn't want to start with it. So you basically start with this cast on edge rather than casting on for the neckband. I think so. The original first sweater is like a bit of a cropped, like boxy jumper, obviously with the balloon sleeves, and then it's finished with like 1x1 rib kind of standard hem. I'm thinking for this, obviously the gauge is different, but I want it to be a bit different in other ways as well. I'm wondering about a big like roll neck, either in 1x1 rib or maybe experimenting with using like squishy half fishermans for the big roll neck. That's why I left it to pick up like afterwards so I could have a play. And then I think I want the body to be like oversized, like long, and then probably do a split hem. So just quite a different fit to the original first sweater, because I know there are patterns out there that do it, and fair play to whoever makes their living any kind of way. But I personally am like, I think if I'm offering like a second pattern, I want it to be not just a different gauge, like actually different vibes. And obviously if you didn't want to do the split hem and you wanted to crop it, you could. It's just as per pattern it would be quite different, if that makes sense. So yeah, there's not much more to say on this aside from work in progress. Imagine it with a big roll neck, and yeah, super cozy. Weirdly, I was working on this and then the wedding happened, blah blah blah, and then I was like, oh, I kind of want to like get my design mojo back a little bit. And then I was like, well, there's no point working on this in the depths of winter, because by the time it's like done, it'll be spring, and then it's just seasonally at the wrong time. So I'm going to pick this back up when like late spring, summer comes around. And in the interim, let me show you the first sample of the first tee, or the first summer tee. I haven't quite decided what I'm going to call it yet. So again, this is at the stage where I have spid for sleeves, and it's not abandoned, so it doesn't quite fit with the others, but ta-da! Oh my god, it looks so good. Yay, so much half fisherman's rib in this episode. Loving it. So this is she. This is knit in Sandnes Duo, which is a beautiful like cotton merino blend, 55% merino, 45% cotton. That's upside down. Is it? No, it wasn't upside down. Oh my god, losing the plot. In this beautiful like neutral, this is Kit or 1015, and I've used this colour in their double Sunday and their Sunday. I really like it. It's like a cool neutral, I would say, rather than being like cream. It's like more greige. So yes, that is this. I have the, where have I put the swatch? Here. It was a good designer, obviously, and swatched for this one. So for the first time I've done quite a lot of these half Fisherman's Rib and stockinette swatches. I swatched in the round, so that's the stockinette side, and that's the half Fisherman's Rib side. Whoop whoop. I love how that has come out. It's just so deliciously squishy. Ah! And stockinette looks really cute. So this came out at a 22 stitch gauge, whereas the original first sweater is a 24 stitch gauge. And yeah, I did the neckline construction differently. You can see there, it's not made with short rows. Sorry, that's trying to focus on my face. It's not made with short rows. You can see there's some alternative shaping around the neckline. Now, I'm not 100% sure how I feel about that just yet. I just wanted to try something new. I think it has really nicely elevated the neckline. Like, there's definitely a difference in the front and the back. And I was worried because it's 45% cotton. It is like, I mean, this has been steam blocked and this hasn't. So you can see it's like cotton's like not very forgiving for like neatness of your stitches. Like if there's tension differences, it really like hangs you out to dry. Obviously there's hope because even just a steam block has regulated things quite a lot. But all that to say, I was a bit worried that my short rows might look a bit messy. So I thought, oh, I'll try something different. And I've seen so many lovely like crew neck sweaters that have used this kind of increased detail. And I think, again, this needs a proper block to just smooth it out. But I like the look of it. I'm just wondering if maybe I would swap those kind of standard make one left or right increases for lifted maybe, because I've used lifted on here and they're much less noticeable. Although I think the flip side of that is that it wouldn't give me such defined increase lines. Now, I know these are a bit Marmite. I happen to really like them. Some people really don't. So yeah, interesting one. But otherwise, this is how she's looking. So I'm thinking with the sleeves that we're going to do a big, well, obviously they're going to be really stretchy because they're the half Fisherman's Rib. But I'm thinking I'm going to bind them off and like tighten things up a lot, but have then quite a thick cuff. So either do a folded hem stockinette cuff, so like in a similar gauge to this, or maybe go down a needle size, or bind that off, just simple bind off, and then do a pick up for a double knit cuff, maybe going around like in a 90-degree kind of different direction to the Fisherman's Rib. I've seen it on a petite knit pattern. I think it's the November jacket. I'll insert a picture and you'll see what I mean, because that was a terrible explanation. But essentially I want to like, these will be obviously short sleeves. On the cardigan and jumper they're balloony and they come in with a like 1x1 cuff. So I'm thinking I don't want that. It's still going to balloon in, but this will be probably like just a wee bit shorter, and then either tight gauge stockinette or double knitting going that way. Like this, like double knitting on here. What do you think? One of the two. But yeah, I'm really excited about this. I have ordered yarn for a second sample. As I was making this, I was like, oh, this is lovely. I really like, this is a very like nice workhorsey summer fibre. I was like, it would be nice in like a premium fibre as well. I think it would give it like a different vibe. I can just imagine it with like a nice bit of sheen from like some silk or something like that. So I have ordered some what's it called? The yarn is called Santee and the brand is called Illumina, something like that. I'll put it on the screen. But the yarn is definitely Santi, and it's merino, silk, and yak. And there's another fibre in there as well. Anyway, when it arrives, it will be in the next podcast, but I think it will just be quite a different vibe. So I think that'd be fun to have a second sample in like a bit of an elevated fibre, whereas this is like your everyday kind of summer cotton tee thing. So yeah, that's that. I have flown through this. I cast this on a week ago, and yeah, I never normally knit through stuff that quickly. I've definitely hyper focused on this, which has been nice, and it's definitely given me some mojo back. So I'm hoping that I can get the pattern kind of drafted and to grader in time to maybe, if all goes to plan and there are no major issues found, maybe have a test call out in like late February, maybe. I'm about 8 centimeters into the body from the underarm, so probably need to do another 20 or so centimeters on the body. Then there's not going to be much to do on the sleeves because it's short sleeve. Obviously we'll need a bit more, and then to work on those bind offs. But I think this took me a week, so I'm hoping that another week I can have it finished. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on those 2 designs. I feel like there's a fine line between like flogging not a dead horse, but you know, I don't want to be like, oh, it's the first everything cardigan sweater chunky tee, but I think it's a nice design and it's popular. People like to make them and wear them. So yeah, I am aware that it's like, oh, here's another version of it. I hope that they're all genuinely different enough that it's not seen as like a money spinning exercise, because it's not. I think sometimes it can come across a bit like that, and I just wouldn't want that to be the case. I lost that swatch again. No, it's in there. Right. I'm very aware that this video is going to be extremely long, so I'm wondering whether to like do some of the acquisition stuff next time. What have I actually got? Ooh, maybe not as much as I thought. I'll show a couple and then I might keep a couple for next time. Right. So I definitely need to tell you about one incredible acquisition that I just still can't believe that is in my possession, and again, such a beautiful story behind it. So my knit group came along to the wedding. I'll put a picture of us all in, and you can be able to see, and it was just so nice to have them all there. We all went to Caroline's wedding, so I was in no doubt that I was going to invite them. But yeah, it was just lovely. And they were such a hit with all my friends and family. Everyone was obsessed with the knitters, including the photographer. They were like, oh, they're just such a fun group of people. Like, yeah, it was just great. We had such a fun time. And it was just, yeah. I just was blown away by the fact that I had like technically internet friends at my wedding. And it was amazing. Where was I going with that? Anyway, they bought me the most stunning wedding gift. I was just speechless. They gave it to me in the evening. And they know that my mum loves knitting and yarn so much as well. So they deliberately went and got her and were like, we're going to give Lizzie her gift. You'll want to see this. So she was there as well. And oh my God, it was just amazing. Let me show you. I've caked up some of it, but not all of it. Show you this first. So this is what they gave me. Isn't it just stunning? Like, oh my God, it's amazing. And to make it even more amazing, as if it wasn't already, this is hand dyed by Zakami. I've never used any of their yarn before, but I've always thought their colours were lovely. And it's a one-of-a-kind dye. There's no other yarn like it that exists, only mine. And the dye lot is called, please focus camera, can you see that? Wyresdale Park. This is literally dyed purposefully for me for our wedding at Wyresdale Park. Isn't that just insane? And yeah, I was just gobsmacked. It's stunning. They gave me, now I feel like I'm going to get this the wrong way around. I want to say the knitters gave me this, which is the fingering merino. And Zakami matched it with the Suri and like gave me that as a gift, but it might be the other way around, and I'm really sorry. I was told, but I was just in like a mess of like, oh my god, I'm literally the luckiest person in the whole world. It's literally my best colours. Like, look at like the beautiful greens, blues, greys, like, oh, it's amazing. So this is seriously special. And obviously I immediately was like, what am I going to make, what am I going to make, what am I going to make? And then I was like, hold on, let's just have a think about this. You don't need to use it in a rush, you don't need to use it in a hurry, you've got so much on your plate. Just chill out and think properly about what to use it for. So I have caked up some of the Suri because I just couldn't help myself. Like, it looks so beautiful and so different caked up. I've never used Suri before, I don't think. Oh, it's just stunning. Look at those flecks of green, bright, bright green. And then like beautiful like silver, bit of brown. Oh, it's just stunning. I caked up too. Woo! And in our mini moon, we went to London, and I went to Beautiful Knitters for the first time, and it was amazing. Pete was very tolerant, and I think I took some pictures, so I'll insert those. And I was looking around for something to maybe pair that Suri with, so I was like, I'll start with a Suri, and then we'll go from there, because I have made two garments before that have got like a lace weight second strand, which is like speckled, so it's like I feel like I'm on slightly more familiar territory. I've never used hand-dyed merino fingering before, so I need to think about that a bit more carefully. Anyway, I was pottering around and I came across oh, I've hidden the skein. Came across this. Ho. Now I didn't end up buying it from Beautiful Knitters because I came away a bit overwhelmed and wasn't quite sure what I wanted, so I left before I did any significant damage to my bank account unintentionally, and came home and thought about it. But I couldn't stop thinking about this particular yarn, which is West Yorkshire Spinners Exquisite in their 4-ply. They do a lace as well, and it's merino and silk, and I think you can tell because it's got a lovely shine to it. Who am I? I'm now someone who buys hanks and skeins rather than like balls pre-wound. Like, I love a pre-wound ball, but I feel like lately, like these and the Imagine wool, the merino linen, that was in a skein, and I had to wind it with my winder, and I just feel like a proper knitter now. Isn't it beautiful? So this is the colourway Knightsbridge, which is extremely fitting because obviously I first saw it in London, and it's beautiful. It's like this very, very pale grey, almost, it's a cool grey, so it's almost bluey, and I thought it would go so well with the Suri. Now I was mulling between a they do this in a cream or like an off-white. And I was like, oh, should I get it in a cream? Should I get it in off-white? Because then the speckles in this will really pop. And I was like, but you've done that with your sweater number 11 and my Aeon sweater. Both used hand-dyed like sprinkle lace with a main strand that's like white or off-white. And I was like, I know that will look lovely, but let's just try something a bit different. So this is what we're going for. And I think the speckles, particularly some of the really strong ones like the green, will still really work well with this, especially because this is cooler toned, and this is definitely like the speckles in it are cooler toned. So I'm so intrigued to see what this looks like. Definitely need to swatch it up. Oh yeah, because I'm a real knitter now. I wound this as well. So now I can be like this and be like, oh look, here's my cakes that I'm going to use together. Aren't they great? Itching to swatch this, but I'm trying to be well behaved and finish some of my other stuff first. There's just so much going on lately. Woo! And then in terms of what I might make with it, I think, well, because it's going to be such like a wild yarn party, I definitely want something basic stockinette to let the colours do the work. So I'm thinking something along the lines of the Oslo sweater by Petite Knit, something along those lines, like a nice, that's a drop shoulder, I think, isn't it? Yeah, something like that. I haven't 100% decided, but I've seen that look really nice when people have posted it on Instagram. If you know of any more like DK weight drop shoulder patterns that might work, let me know. And then with regards to the fingering strand, I think I might try and pair it with some of my leftover. I've got a bit of a hodgepodge of like leftover, for example, white mohair. So this is leftover from this. This is Lang Yarn's lace. So I think that would look really cool. And then that would be different because in the past I've done a plain main strand and a speckled fluff, but then this would be speckled main strand, plain fluff. And I've got this, nearly a full other one, and these have a big meterage on them. It's like 300 or something daft. Yeah, 310. So it's like a whole 100 meters more than you get in most mohairs. So I probably would only need maybe 1 or 2 more of these. And I'm kind of wondering, I know this is like really bad, probably bad knitting behaviour, but if it's just, maybe not. I also have this Tilia, which obviously is not the same colour, but, focus, there we go. Obviously it's not the same colour, but if it was with this, I'm not sure you'd notice that much. And I'm trying to, now part of the reason of organising all of this was so I could see it and see what I had. So I don't want to like buy more if I don't need it. Because what I'm going to do with one random skein of Telia, they're not that different. One's more off-white than white. But with this, I'm not sure you would notice. So that's a possibility. Yeah, so exciting. So that's one of my acquisitions. This is just a complete mess now. And then what shall I? I'm wondering how much. Right, one more. Let's talk about these because these are causing problems. I do have some other acquisitions to talk about, but I'll leave it now because this is like a really, really long video. These are the ones that were causing trouble earlier and falling out all over the shop. So this is Knitting for Olive compatible cashmere in this amazing colour. Now, this was gifted by Simona of Knit Yarns. She gave it to me for Christmas. She didn't say she was sending a Christmas parcel. I just opened a parcel not knowing what it was and was like, oh! Like, I watched Caroline's video recently and she used the phrase, I squealed when I opened it, and I definitely did the same because I wasn't expecting it, and it's just so kind. And like, this is 100% cashmere, 150 grams per 25 meters, so it's really special. And this colour in my opinion, could not be more me. Like, I have been eyeballing and envying this Knitting for Olive Dusty Artichoke colourway for ever, and I've never made something in it, and I've always wanted to. So now I'm like, this is the perfect excuse, because I basically have now been given a second strand. How exciting. So yeah, this is it. It's just beautiful. So I am going to pair this in the future, probably with then the Knitting for Olive merino in Dusty Artichoke. The good thing is that they're pretty consistent across their different yarn, like across their yarn. I've been talking for too long. They are consistent in their colours across the different yarns that they make. So particularly with some of the like OG colours like this, there's a lot of different yarns by Knitting for Olive that use this colourway. So I could use the soft silk mohair, I could use the I think there's pure silk in this colourway, there's merino, like I've got options. So I'm looking forward in the future to using this. It's just stunning. So lovely, and they're just so tiny. Like, how cute. Like this is like a normal ball that you get. It's just so diddy. So thank you so much, Simona. I think she gave me 6, which I feel like incredibly spoiled by. So they're 150 meters per thingy-majig. Even if I ended up holding it double, I'd still have 300 meters per 50 grams. So that's a lot. But yeah, yay! That was a very welcome Christmas gift. So I'm going to leave it there. I do have a couple of other acquisitions, but I'm going to talk about it next time because I don't have project plans for them yet. And yeah, we've been here a while. I told you there was a lot to catch up on. I just noticed there's a ball of compatible cashmere rolled all the way over to that side of the room, which is hilarious. So thank you so much for watching and for sticking with me through this very long episode, but I hope you enjoyed it. I feel like we packed a lot in. Yeah, there's a lot going on for Hive Knits at the minute. I'm in a weird situation where my training, assuming I pass this exam, when my like GP training is going to come to an end in May, which is actually quite soon considering it's the end of January. So things are going to change a little bit. Like, obviously I need to look for a job, but I need to make some decisions about how many days I want to, like, I'll have more freedom essentially. Like, I'll kind of be in control of how many days like GPing and doctoring I want to do. And I would love to be able to like actually have some days a week where I maybe like just do this. I don't know how possible it is. Like, I've been keeping my accounts, and I don't sell loads of patterns by any means. I'm not like I'm a very small fry designer, but I love it, and it's so nice to do something that's different to like my work, because being a GP is very draining. It's actually so weird to think about it. You literally sit there all day, and series of people come in and tell you their problems, and then they leave, and then you do it all over again. And some of them you can do something about, some of them you have to do something about right there and then, and it's really urgent. Some of them you're like, that sounds really non-specific, and ooh, worst case scenario, that could be something awful, but best case scenario, it could be nothing at all, and ooh, what should we do? And sometimes you're like, I can't do anything about this, and I'm really sorry. And yeah, it's a lot. I enjoy it, but it's a lot. And yeah, I just won't be in a training program anymore. I'll have a bit more control over life, and it's a bit scary because I haven't applied for a job like ever, because I've just gone from one training program to the next, like school, medical school, foundation training, GP training, and then suddenly I'm like, ooh, that's a bit scary. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I would love maybe like to have one day a week where I could like properly do a bit more hive knit stuff, put a bit more time into patterns and expansion of like that side of things. So we'll see. I am going to sign off here, go and take some of the old B-roll and then edit this, try and get it up so you can watch it. Let me know how you feel about the older what I made in 2023 videos. Have we missed the boat? Are you that arsed? Not sure. And yeah, let me know how you feel about the new patterns, the new design ideas. And yeah, I'm going to start nattering now. It's been lovely to catch up. Take care, everyone, and I will see you next time. Bye! It's Editing Lizzie here. This is the beautiful video that Laura made of our wedding. So if you want to stick around and keep watching, then please do. This it did have a soundtrack on, so she cut the video that she made so cleverly to Love Story by Taylor Swift, because that is the song that I got up and sang with the wedding band. However, we were just having a bit of a chat about it, and we don't think that I can put that in a monetized video because of the copyright laws and things like that. So I've taken the soundtrack off, but she still captured some amazing moments. I feel so incredibly lucky to have a friend like Laura who is so clever. I've shared this video with friends and family, and they're all just blown away by her editing skills. It's a shame we can't have the soundtrack because she really has done an amazing job. But you definitely get the picture just from watching the clips. So thank you so much, Laura. So you gave me an incredible wedding present with the yarn, don't get me wrong, but I think this is also such a special gift, and yeah, we're really grateful. I'll stop nattering now. Thanks so much again, Laura, and hope you've enjoyed watching this episode. I'll catch you next time. Bye.